Today, 3 forest garden challenges and how I dealt with them.
Hello, welcome to our channel. We're all about sharing our adventures and experiences around our homestead and off-grid cabin here on our 40 acres in the wilderness of Ontario, Canada.
We enjoy life around the cabin, exploring, canoeing, hiking, campfire cooking, gardening, and sharing our love of nature.
If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing and click the little notification bell so you won't miss anything. Right here on Cabin Life with Glenn and Maureen.
Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. Maureen here. Glenn's off out and about on the property with Jake today. They're getting some other chores done, getting ready for winter while I work on the garden here. And so I wanted to take the time to talk with you about 3 challenges that I had setting up and establishing the forest garden and how I dealt with them. So let's get to it. Our first challenge in establishing the forest garden was choosing a location. We chose this location for the garden because it has a lot of good sun all morning up until about noon or shortly after, and then some spots of it have shade in the afternoon. The soil tested at 6.5 pH, which is a good soil pH, so we just needed to clean up the land and then build the beds. Now, one of the biggest challenges here is that our land is bedrock with a shallow covering of peat soil. So that left us with a choice of either a raised bed or a lasagna style garden bed or a back to Eden style garden bed, because they were all raised beds. Now we decided to go with the lasagna style garden because most of the materials we had right here on the property, along with some rabbit manure from a neighboring homesteader who raises rabbits. We layered piles of leaves or browns and grasses or the greens along with some compost and topsoil. We made altogether the beds were about 2 feet high, and then we topped them off with some topsoil and planted the plants. And you know, it turned out great. We had great success with it. And you can follow along how we cleared the forest floor, put in the lasagna garden, and grew our garden right here in our forest garden series. I'm really pleased with how the lasagna garden turned out. Considering it was put in so quick, we were a little bit late to the start of our garden, so it was super easy to get our garden up and going. And I wasn't so sure about this idea of minimal weeding with the lasagna garden, but you know what? There was hardly any weeding. Nothing to really speak of compared to other gardens I've had in the past. And all those materials piled up together, they have made a great compost that's all ready to go. Take a look. I'll get some of the top off. So this is creating a really nice compost, a good base for next year. Still have my pink things on. The next challenge I had with the garden was blight. We had great success with the garden. Then we went away for a couple of days. When we came back from our back roads wilderness adventure and I checked the garden, I was expecting to see some beautiful tomatoes and everything just thriving great. Wow, I was disappointed, I tell you. But I was so surprised, just like, what happened? We were only gone a few days. Now, blight is a fungus which is naturally occurring in the ground. So it's really important to keep the plants cleaned up about a foot above the ground. Now, I had tied them up, but I guess I didn't tie them up strong enough. When they drooped down a bit, blight got into them. And I tell you, it can wipe out plants so fast. So we cleaned up all the affected parts of the plants, and we thought we're going to see how it goes and see if the rest of the plants will thrive. The third challenge I had with the forest garden this year was with an invasive species called a stink bug. Now, they're natural to Asia, and they have been sweeping across North America, United States and Canada, really affecting a lot of orchards and farmers and local gardens. Now, basically what they do is they get into fruits and tomatoes, and some might even get into squashes. The stink bugs poke holes in the fruit, and that causes a type of yeast to grow and other bacteria to grow underneath the skin, and that destroys all the fruit. That was a real challenge because I didn't know what was causing the problem. And then I saw these cute little armored coated bugs in the garden. They looked really cute. I looked them up and found out, uh-oh, those aren't wanted. Even though we had natural bug control in the garden, like our frogs and the crickets and that, I guess they don't like stink bugs. So the only way to remove stink bugs from your garden is either to use toxic insecticides, but then you lose all your other good insects in the garden as well. So hand removing the bugs is the only way they can be dealt with. I tried doing that, and you know, those little stinkers, they're really fast. So I removed some of them. There didn't seem to be a lot, but what I have learned is that stink bugs will bed down in leaves in the mulch in your garden. Now they don't like rain or wet ground, so one way you could get rid of them and make sure you flush them out is to water the soil, and then they'll go up onto the plants and you can knock them off. You get a bucket, put a little bit of dish soap in and some water, and then knock the stink bugs off the plants into the soapy water and then dispose of them. So I guess next year, if I have stink bugs again, that's what I'll be doing. We got some tomatoes. Oh my gosh, we had the best bacon tomato sandwiches with real tomatoes out of the garden. That was so great. Now I did keep on top of them, and it did look like there was some tomatoes that were going to be able to be harvested later in the season, but then we had an early frost. One night of frost destroyed all of our plants except for the Italian oregano. I tell you, it has done great. It's obviously cold tolerant. And same with the parsley. It's looking like the frost gave it a little bit of a boost and a wake-up call. So I'm going to be harvesting those today and then hanging them up to dry in the traditional manner of drying your herbs. Unfortunately, the cinnamon basil didn't make it through the frost. Lettuce, cold tolerant. It's humming along. I have a lot of seeds. I'll be taking those seed pods off the plant and putting those seeds away for the spring. The atomic grape got hit by the frost, but we can see some of the signs of the coloration that was starting to happen. Take a look at the beehive. From my understanding, the ground bees, they don't hibernate here over the winter. So I'm not sure what they do. Looks like another critter has taken over residency where the beehive was. Take a look. This used to be the beehive hole. I wonder what's in there. Blight is a naturally occurring fungus in the ground, so the best way to work with it is by managing your gardens. Putting plant material that's been affected by blight into your compost pile actually concentrates the level of blight in that soil, which could concentrate the amount of blight in your garden in future years. So any affected plant material we've removed from the garden. We're either going to burn it or we have put it far away from the garden to decompose somewhere else. Now the other thing we're doing is we're replanting our gardens for next year. They're going to be combined. I'm actually going to fill in the space here with more soil and browns and greens and build up one large bed and plant carrots and radishes, some lettuce, cabbage, and some other plants next year. So this will be one big bed, possibly a raised bed or just a lasagna bed. We'll see how it goes through the rest of the autumn as we get our garden ready. The herbs and the lettuce garden will remain the same. Our tomatoes next year will be going in here, and I'll be making a new tomato bed here. I've gotten my greens and my browns, and in here is more browns. This year's forest garden season has been great for me. It's been a good learning experience. Glenn and I took the attitude at the beginning that it was going to be more of an experimental garden to see how it's going to work. Being in a natural forest soil environment with natural materials from around here, like the compost and the topsoil, the greens and the browns, and of course the rabbit manure from down the road from the organic farm and homestead. And the fruit grew great until we had our challenges of blight and stink bugs. Now, what did I learn? Number one is I'm going to go with lasagna garden again for next year. Number two, be more vigilant with my plants. Make certain I keep my eye on them for any pests and deal with them right away. And do whatever I have to do to eradicate them in a natural way. And tomatoes, I'm going to make certain that I have good tomato supports next year so they stay up off the ground and don't give that blight a chance to come back and attack my tomatoes again. So we're going to get going on the beds, get those all laid out, and quite possibly I'll have a future update for you, so keep a watch out. Just as we were finishing this garden update, we had an unexpected weather change. Stay tuned for an update.